We're all set, we're on. So,
Ready when you are. Yep, go ahead.
right. In compliance with Governor Cuomo's executive order pertaining to public meetings during the COVID-19 outbreak, tonight's Arundecoit Planning Board meeting is being conducted using Zoom. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to tonight's Planning Board meeting. The meeting is available for live viewing on Facebook, live listening via the phone-in information provided on the town's website. The meeting will also be rebroadcast on ICAT Government Access Spectrum Channel 1303. Tonight, for each case subject to a public hearing, we will follow a similar order of operations as we normally do, except tonight we are using remote access options. Applicants will be invited to join the meeting by video or call when their case is called. Once the public hearing is open, public input on each case can be received either by email or phone. Similar to a regular meeting, each person providing public comment will need to give their full name and address. They will be given up to 5 minutes to provide their comments to the board. Once the comments have been received, we will move on to the next email or call if any are waiting. We ask anyone sending in comments to put the address or case number in the subject line of the email. During the public hearing for each case, staff will monitor the planning board at arundecoit.org email. That's planning board, all one word, at arundecoit.org email. The emails will be read into the record by staff. Please be sure to provide your name and address for the record. Or you can call in using the information provided on the website and displayed at the bottom of the screen on Facebook. While the public is listening to the meeting on the phone, they can provide comment on the current case by virtually raising their hand by pressing 9 on their phone. If you call to make a comment on a public hearing case, you will receive the prompt on the phone that you've been unmuted. This is your cue to speak to the board. On behalf of the board, I'd like to thank you for your participation and patience as we continue to navigate through the remote public hearings. With that, Michelle, can you call the first case?
Let me unmute first. First item on the agenda, we have case number PB 2020-06-1 upon the matter of request by Araya Rosa Santos for signage approval to install window signage on premises 545 Titus Avenue, Titus Mall in a mixed-use commercial district.
Carrie, do we have anybody to address the board?
I believe that we do have a caller on the line who might be representing the application. I'll just double check that right now. Actually, I'll ask the person on the phone if it's them to raise their hand by pressing *9 if they want to. Or I'm going to allow the person with the number 755, I'm going to allow them, I'm going to unmute them now. The risk of sounding like Larry King. Caller, you've been unmuted.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi there.
This is Ann Burns from the HIP group.
Oh, so Ann, if you're going to hold on. If you want to hold on for a moment, we want to just make sure that the applicant isn't planning on speaking. We're looking to the applicant.
Yep, I'd appreciate that.
All right, Ann, thanks. I'm going to unmute you again I'm going to mute you again, but I'll unmute when the time for public comment comes.
Sounds great.
So I don't know if the applicant is on the phone. The applicant did participate at the workshop. I know they would have received, I know she would have received the information on how to call in for tonight's meeting. So I'm not sure if there was a delay or confusion, but
I did speak with her and I told her that I had emailed her the information to connect as well. And I did send her the comments that were received.
Okay.
So Carrie,
Mr. Chair,
is
would you
it-
like to move to the next agenda
Uh,
item and then come back?
that's what I was just gonna ask. Do we have to do anything to do that, or can we just put this on hold and come back?
I
We
think
can
you would
table
take a vote to take up the second item first, since you didn't open the public hearing yet, correct, for this one?
That's correct.
No.
Yeah, so then I
Right.
think you can just call the next case and come back to this one.
Why don't we do that? Can we call the next case? Michelle?
Absolutely. Next case is case number PB 2020-06-2. Upon the matter of request by Ken Schwanker for steep slope and woodlot environmental protection overlay district EPOD approvals to construct a new detached garage on premises 285 Shore Drive in an R3 residential district.
Do we have anybody online, Carrie?
Hold on one moment, I'm going to unmute the applicant. Ken, you've been unmuted, so
Yep.
now you and the board can hear one another.
Thank you.
Hi, Ken. Please start with your name and address.
Ken Schwenker, 285 Shore Drive. Our project is a garage separate from the house. Our house is the very last house on Shore Drive in Arundecoit. We're on Big Massive Cove. So there's woods on one side of us and there's actually woods on both sides of us, but there's only a house to the right of us or towards the Little Massive Cove. Do you want me to describe the project?
Please.
Correct.
Thank
So
you.
it's a two-door garage, 28 by 28 footprint. I had to build it into the hill because it's at the top of the driveway, and my driveway is lower than the grade of my house. So at the top of the driveway would be the bottom of the garage. So the garage is the first level. Then there's the main floor. Then it'll be open cathedral ceiling. It's just going to be a workshop area. But 6 foot up from the main floor is a little bit of a balcony on the very back wall. And I have that there so we can sometime in the future possibly put in an elevator so we can possibly live in this house a little longer than once we get less mobile. Anything else you want me to say? So are there any questions about it?
Sorry about that. I had to find my unmute button. No, thank you. You're done giving an overview of the project at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody on the board have questions for the applicant? Hearing none. I just want to make sure. Anybody on mute?
I just have a staff question. When we were at workshop, we were discussing whether or not the 3-story and the building height had any issues or variances required. Can you just maybe go over that, Carrie or Michelle, and kind of explain that?
So the project was already slated to go to the zoning board. The applicant was made aware of the need for variance, both for the square footage of the garage and also for the height. So that'll be on the July 6th zoning board meeting. And although not subject to either planning board or zoning board sort of discretionary decision-making, we did connect the property owner with the fire marshal's office as well, just in case from a building permit standpoint, if there were going to be any surprises or issues regarding the requirement for sprinklers. That's not something this board needs to worry about, but we wanted to make sure that there were no surprises after the fact that might, alter the applicant's plans with respect to whether or not something requires sprinklers.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
I just want to reiterate the materials for the outside those are in conformity with what is existing on the house, right?
Yeah, it'll be the same as the house.
All right.
Okay, anybody else have any other questions for the applicant? Okay, at this point, I'd like to move to the public hearing. Carrie, do we have to do anything special at this point or just?
I'm looking to see, I don't have any additional attendees that are, if you want to wait just a moment to see if anybody's going to call in respective to this application, might want to just hold for one more moment.
No problem.
I still don't see any attendees raising their hand indicating they'd like to speak. So I think it's probably safe to close the public hearing.
Okay, with that, we will close the public hearing.
Okay.
At this point, if the board doesn't have any other questions, concerns, would somebody like to make a motion?
Do we have to do seeker on this?
This is a type 2 for the purposes of seeker because it's an accessory structure. There are a couple of provisions on the type 2 list that this would fall under, but its accessory structure is deemed a type 2.
Right. I can go ahead and make a motion, Mr. Chair, if that's
I
helpful.
just want to make, if I could note just real quick, the code does, I believe, require a referral of the application to the Conservation Board, and that was completed here in the comments received from the town Conservation Board.
And I believe we were in receipt of those as of the workshop.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that was on the record.
Yep.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, in the case of PB 2020062, that I make a motion that we approve as presented, provided that they have approval from the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Palermo. All those in favor, please say aye. We're going to do a roll call once more. Hold on. Mr. Evelyn.
Aye.
Mr. Huber.
Aye.
Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Richards.
Aye.
Ms. Hollenbeck. Is that a yes, Mary? Sorry.
Yes.
And Mr. Palermo.
Aye.
And Chairman is aye also. So with that, it's 7 yes, 0 no, nobody's absent, no abstains. This motion passes.
Very much.
You should be all set. Good luck with your garage.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Go back to the first case, Michelle.
So, and I'm going to just give you a quick update. I did connect with the applicant. She was having technical difficulties with the information or connecting to Zoom. So I just provided her with the attendee telephone information via text just now. So if you want to just, hopefully we're going to give her a moment and she'll be able to join the call. And
No
I can
problem. In the
respond.
meantime, can we review the minutes while we're waiting? Is that okay?
Sure. Look at it going all of, yeah, sure. If that's it's up to you, Chairman.
Sure.
I reviewed the minutes and I was satisfied with them. There were no edits on my end, so I move that we approve the minutes as submitted. The minutes for the May 18th meeting.
Second.
All those in favor, or I'm sorry, can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Palermo. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Anybody abstain? And I'm sorry, was that a nay or a yay that I heard there? Look at it go.
Yay on my part.
Okay,
I'm abstaining, Bernie. I wasn't there.
okay, thank you. So that, and the chairman's an aye, so the minutes pass 6 yes, no no's, and 1 abstain. Any luck yet with the applicant, Carrie?
I don't see the applicant here as an attendee just yet. And I'm just trying to reach them to see, make sure that the text message, there was a phone dying situation that she was having me contact her at another, provide the information to another number. So I'm trying to make sure the connection was made. Thank you for your patience.
No problem. Alan, could you go over the mixed use commercial code while we're waiting? Was that no comment?
I do want an update on that. We can wait till the end. I don't care.
I was just kidding, Alan.
I'm not.
Maybe you can go over the comprehensive town plan.
I can't wait till we update it.
Talking to her.
Mr. Chair, is it possible that staff can walk us through this?
I saw Carrie is talking probably to the applicant, so I was going to give her a few more seconds. Carrie, can you confirm you're talking to the applicant? We see you talking, but you're on mute.
I'm talking to the applicant. I'm trying to get them the information they need for the call-in.
Okay, thank you.
Carrie, I did just email her the phone number again.
The I apologize. The number that I had, either it was a typo on my part, so the text message was sent to the wrong number. I just redirected the login information to her. Hopefully, it was the correct number. and she'll be calling in shortly. So thank you for your patience.
You get paid by the minute.
Did it look like I was calling in a wing order while I was on the phone? I wasn't.
Bernie,
Yes.
could you sing while we're waiting?
I'm gonna pass on that motion and let Alan take it up if you'd like.
If that's the way you want to be.
I'd ask you to tell some of your jokes, Michael, but they might not be appropriate.
You don't know that.
Okay.
This seems like a very good time for a Michael Palermo trivia moment.
Trivia question. Can you tell me, folks, at least 2 or 3 significant happenings in United States history, specifically on the 4th of July?
Like 2 ex-presidents dying?
2 ex-presidents dying on the same day, 4th of July. And can you tell me who they are?
Adams and Jefferson, or Adams and, yeah, Jefferson.
Yes, it was. Yeah. And until the end, they were kind of enemies, but at the end, they were good friends. So you got one that nobody knows except you and I.
Well,
Anybody
I wouldn't go that far now. All 3 people watching us on the cable channel now.
So
The secret is
I'm
now
happy to
out.
report that our applicant is in the meeting, and I will unmute her now so we can continue with that case. So thank you, Michael, for your helping to fill the time. Hold on one moment.
Thank you. Before you start, Michelle, you just want to give the address and the case number again to start?
Mute. Unmute first.
Okay.
Case number PB 2020-06-1 for the matter of signage approval at 545 Titus Avenue.
Thank you. Applicant, please give your name and address and address the board with the case.
Hello, my name is Aria Rosa Santos, and the address is for 545 Titus Avenue. And from my understanding, I'm here today to present you guys the signage that I would like to put for my business on the windows and the door.
Could you just give, for everybody's benefit, just a little bit of overview why you chose the signage you chose?
Oh, I chose the signage before because it's the exact same signage I had on the windows and the door at my previous location that I was at for 3 years. It just has information regarding the services we provide, as well as our social media handling and the time of operation and where to communicate with us as well.
Thank you. Anything else you'd like to tell us about the signage before I turn it over to the board to see if they have any questions?
Not really, just real short, simple, clean, right to the point, and it's just what I had before for the past 3 years.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions for the applicant? Do not see anybody coming forward. No questions. I guess for the record, Michelle, we did get a letter regarding this, or, oh, I'm sorry.
Correct.
We're gonna have, open it up for a public hearing. I'm sorry. So open it up for a public hearing. Anybody like to address the board?
And Burns.
I'm gonna, Ann Burns is still on the call, and I'm gonna unmute her now.
Thank you.
Ann, you should be all set to speak.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is Ann Burns, and I live at 199 Bellhurst Drive. and I'm speaking on behalf of our HIP group. I apologize that our comments came in at the 11th hour today, but I was out of town last week when we found out about this application. You know, we do commend Ms. Rosa Santos and appreciate that she's an Arundequoit resident who wants to relocate her business in the Titus Cooper Hudson neighborhood. So we're happy with that. You know, we've seen her business in the South Wedge. And the only thing we thought was possibly placing a small scaled sign above the door at the far west end, similar to what Arundequoit Pharmacy has done above their door with her polished and her swoosh logo, just so she's visible from the street, because we've had a number of businesses that have gone into this location and haven't been really visible. We thought with that, with her window decals would be a nice complement. In terms of the door decal, to save Ms. Rosa Santos some money, we thought she really doesn't need to include the street address or the words Rochester, New York, or the zip code, just the business identifier, so polished one-stop shop, the hours and the web identifiers, so that passersby at street level would be able to see that. The only other question we had was whether or not the applicant plans to put a sign panel in that central marquee that's above the main door for the Titus Mall. And that's my comments. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else who'd like to address the board?
I don't have anyone else that's got their hand raised.
Any emails or anything? Michelle?
I have no emails currently sent in.
Okay. So with that, would the applicant like to address the comments made?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, just want to make sure. Those are, I read the comments from the email, and those are all great things. So if, because I'm just new to this, if I definitely want to put a sign in the main marquee, how do I go about that with you guys? Is that another application I need to put in? Or is that something we just discussed like right now and it can get added in?
Well,
or and I'm totally fine with the other one too that she recommended, this like the pharmacy. I'm fine with that as well.
Okay. We'd actually just have to see a rendering of the sign, and you'd have to get approval for that because you're in the mixed use commercial area.
Okay.
Terry, go ahead. I was going to ask.
I was going to suggest is in the marquee, I don't know that there's much in the way of, it's a preset sign. So they're fairly limited, I think, in what could be done inside the marquee.
I thought she was going to put a sign similar to the pharmacy one. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Is this an internal sign?
Either or. I'm comfortable with doing either or. And my main thing, I would love to just put one in the marquee that just says polished, like someone who said earlier with my logo and the swoosh, very small. That's what I would want to put there.
Okay, so you're not looking to put another sign like the pharmacy?
If it's going to be anything to make it a little more like complicated, then no, I'm fine. But I would love to do the marquee just to put my logo in there.
Yeah, so Carrie, for that, they wouldn't have to come back before the board. Is that correct?
That's up to this board's discretion.
That's an internal sign or an external sign? Somebody stop here and just tell me which, it's facing inside the mall or outside?
If you look at the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you could go ahead, sir.
I believe you're talking about the external one. If you look at the picture she provided, Alan, it's that sign over to the left-hand side.
It's the one that's outside where it says like Two Tones, Tony Pizza, the Farmery, the DMV, like it has everyone's business on there. The one that's at the top on both sides.
So we don't have a rendering of this. We don't know what it would look like. We don't have
Well,
anything.
Yeah, but no, it's not really. It's not. It's an existing sign, right? Like it's when you go to a plaza and they have the little slots for. So it's not really new.
Yeah,
We would just be
exactly.
putting her logo in the existing slot. So whether it's internally lit or externally lit, it doesn't matter because the sign already exists. We're only talking about adding her logo to one of the slots.
And there's 2 or 3 empty slots on it now.
So this would not be above the door.
Well,
No.
It's above the main door to the plaza, not the door directly into the tenant space.
If you guys look at the picture of the building, you can see part of the sign that you're talking about. It's over the door.
Main door.
And I think for clarification, HIP's letter referenced the two distinct suggestions. One
Right.
was adding to the existing marquee or banner sign. And then the other was the addition of a sign over her entrance or her doorway, similar to some of the other businesses. So there's two separate suggestions there. And that the applicant was indicating they were in favor of both potential ideas. So may I offer an option, and certainly the deputy town attorney can advise me if this is ill-advised, but since she's here before you now for a sign application, the board could consider the approval of it, and if the one over the door, which would require some more design, was a concern because you don't have a rendering of what that might look like, that you could provide the approval with the condition that it be presented at a workshop for review. And then if there's some issue with it, that's beyond the scope, or provide some dimensional requirements, but otherwise he can make separate application and come before the board at a future date.
My only concern is that this has not come before the public for a public hearing on it, that it's new information tonight and it's not been presented anywhere to the public for review. I on the surface of it don't have any problem. I just think the openness is not being shared here.
Well, the HIP letter did include a photograph of the existing sign, and I think that the recommendation was just to take that sign and move it to the new location. So personally speaking, from my perspective, if that's what they want to do, that would be fine with me, because I would consider that photo a rendering of the sign. I'm literally going to just take it from one shop and put it in front of the other. If she wanted to do something different, like new signage in the same location, then I guess maybe we might want to do more, have her come back. But if to just put, if we said, to approve the application and then also allow the business owner to put the logo in the bank of signs and reuse the sign from her shop as shown in the HIP letter, that would be fine. And I guess so. And then if she didn't want to do any of those things, and at least she would have the option. She doesn't have to do them all, but at least there would be options open for her.
Hello, this is Aria. I am to make things like easy, and not necessarily easy, but just to settle things more for today. I'm completely fine not putting another sign above the door, and like I'm completely fine moving forward with the stuff, with everything I presented to you guys that we're discussing today. If it is okay for me to put the my logo in the existing marquee that is already there that has 3 empty slots, that's what I'm referencing, that I am totally on board and cool with doing as well. And it looks just like the visual of it is what I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I looked at the email for the first time today, but I think it's like HIPAA. And what you guys sent to me in the email, it would be that same exact picture, just polished right in the marquee, very small. And if that is a lot, I'm totally fine with not doing it either. Whatever is easier for you guys.
Okay, so I believe what the applicant's asking is that we approve the signage she has before us and that she be allowed to put a sign in the existing sign to have a slot to put her logo in that slot. Does anybody see it different than what I heard?
I think you've got it correct, Mr. Chairman. And because the existing marquee sign is existing and there are currently empty slots in it, I personally have no issue with allowing the marquee sign because it's not really adding any signage to the building beyond what is already there. So I would be okay with that.
I agree.
I have a question though. This is to council. Do we have any say over that marquee in code?
Well, absent any condition on prior approvals that any change, in the individual signs within that marquee need to come back before any other conditions. I believe the existing approval would stand and there would be no further, additional approval needed with respect to her specific sign within the marquee.
So we've already approved that.
Correct.
All right.
Any other questions before we go to a motion? Would somebody like to make a motion?
Bernie, I believe you have to close the public
Oh, I'm
hearing.
sorry.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry. Thank you. Close the public hearing. And now we can, unless anybody on the board has any other questions, or if the applicant wants to make any other clarifications before we move to a motion. Accept the motion?
I would go ahead.
Just to confirm the board's handling of determination here as to seeker.
It's an unlisted action, is that correct?
It's a type 2.
Type 2. I owe you a Coke, Alan.
So, Mr. Chair, in the matter of PB 2020061, I move that we approve the application as presented.
And we don't have to mention the marquee sign because it was already pre-approved, is that correct? I'm just clarifying.
That is my understanding.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Ms. Hollenbeck, I believe, came in first. At this point, all those in favor, Mr. Eveland, yes or yay or nay?
Yay.
Okay.
Mr. Huber,
Yay.
Mr. Reed,
Yay.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Ms. Hollenbeck,
Yes.
Mr. Palermo.
Yes.
This passes with 6 yes, 0 no, no abstentions. And just so the applicant, it's clear for the applicant, you're free to go with what you proposed. In addition, the marquee sign has already been approved if you choose to put your logo in the marquee sign.
Bernie, you have to re-clarify that. That's 7 A's, I believe.
Oh, Mr. Chairman didn't vote. It's a yay. 7
Okay.
yay.
No, all right, just wanted to make sure.
7 yay, 0 no, no abstention. You're all set. Good luck with your business.
Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day and be safe.
Thank you.
Probably somebody for the election.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. There's no more business on the agenda.
I think not. I don't believe everybody's been muted on the calls.
I'm not muted. Would you like me to mute?
We were talking to.
I believe I've corrected that now. Thank you. Now, Michael is the only attendee that's participating. Everybody else has dropped off as attendees.
Alan, you're muted if you're talking to us.
That's probably better that way, though. Mr. Chair, I was wondering if staff had any update on the muck zoning issue that was going on, that was discussed at workshop at the in the Titus Cooper area.
I can, I'm happy to, I have to still double check on one item before I can, there's one outstanding item and I'm happy to give an update. Can I email everybody?
That would work. Okay. Anything else at this point?
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second that. Thank you, everybody, and hopefully we'll all be together for the next meeting.
It's looking like that will be the case. It looks like July's zoning board meeting is going to be held remotely via Zoom, but I believe that we're going to, town board is slated for July to be in real life, and I believe this board will be as well.
Do we have any cases already on the calendar or no?
Michelle, I don't know, do we receive any applications for July yet?
I do not believe so.
Yeah,
I think tomorrow is the cutoff. Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was,
Sorry.
couldn't remember.
So maybe we'll be getting together in July, right?
Perhaps, yeah. I thought we had one or two that were trying to make application for next month, so we may have applications. If not,
I will have.
We haven't.
Well, we could still do a Zoom meeting if everybody misses each other. So, thank you. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Irondequoit Planning Board on ICAT Government Access.